floor is yours, Bernhard.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Should be here in a minute. Yes. We did, I believe, actually for the first time, a survey with some questions regarding Semantic MediaWiki. It was actually organized by the MediaWiki stakeholders group. So if you don't know who that is or what that is, I would invite you to look at the expo, where there is a booth, so you get acquainted of the goals of the stakeholders group, and we would all like to see more members here. The online survey was implemented with a Lime survey installation that we had available at KDZ. It was online for about a month and was sent through various channels. We received 128 responses, 57 completed it, and 71 partial. Why partial? Well, because it was a very long survey, so some people might have thought, they just quit, but we still would get their first responses. So for the following slides, I counted all of those responses. So interesting is who took part: 84 users, 35 consultants who are either implementing or hosting Semantic MediaWiki, 16 developers, and 15 people who are just interested. The very good question, good news is that when you look at in what year did you begin using Semantic MediaWiki, we have a peak in last year, which I think is very nice, and 2021 is not finished yet, so this might still go up. So I hope this is also due to the success of last year's conference, that we now have increased visibility, which we also see in several mailing lists. For example, suddenly other people show up asking newcomer questions, but also people are answering them that did not answer such questions before. So that's nice that we have more users incoming here. Regarding versioning, I don't want to go into detail. Basically, it confirms the plans of Jeroen that MediaWiki 1.35, the long-term support release, is used mainly, and also the latest version is used. Just a small hint: if you don't know wikiapi.com, you should definitely go and check it out, because there are more detailed information about several thousand wiki installations on there. So if you're interested in how much distribution does a different extension have or whatever, you can find it here. One interesting aspect is we asked for features of Semantic MediaWiki, some kind of a base features, because we needed to improve the software since the main developer has, over the last years, has left. We need to figure out where to put our effort first. And here you can see the basic property value annotations or property annotations using set. That is, of course, very important or somewhat important. Sub-objects also, of course, defining the type properties in a property namespace. Not so important seems to be provenance metadata and multilingual content. Inline queries, of course. I mean, this is really the strength of Semantic MediaWiki, right? Also, but browsing semantic data seems to be very important. Semantic gardening. So the question, how can you see false annotations, maybe who is able to change properties, things like that. Semantic web standards are important, of course, also triple store support, Elastic Store, and then the API. So yeah, we have some interesting figures there. We asked for importance and usage. I don't want to go into the usage detail. It looks quite similar, actually. So we will be releasing, I guess, the details also later. So if you want to have a closer look, you're invited to do that as soon as we have uploaded it, probably to the Semantic MediaWiki website. Interesting here is also we asked about Semantic MediaWiki related extensions. So not Semantic MediaWiki and Semantic result formats, but some other extensions. Some prominent ones are missing here on purpose because we didn't care too much about those. For example, page forms, where we know it's very popular, it's very highly used, and it is actively developed. So we wanted to put a focus on extensions that are somehow in a not so great state, maybe abandoned or something like that. So we wanted to know that. Surprisingly for me, semantic compound queries is one of the most important for the future. Semantic extra special properties, but I don't want to go into the details here because that would take me too long. But you can just see that this is quite interesting. If you want to look into details of those extensions, you can do that. But what I want to show you, and I think this is quite nice actually, because we asked for usage and importance, you can see a distribution of extensions in a sort of a matrix, and then you can do, if you have ever been in some business course, you might have heard about portfolios. So what does it look like? Actually, in the textbooks, these two are reversed, but this is just a small mistake that I did, so it doesn't really matter. You would have here the extensions that people think are rather important in the future on this axis, and the usage is on this axis. So you would have stars, that are highly used and highly important. You would have the question marks that are probably very important in the future, but not so much used yet, maybe. We have no cash cows, so we don't have, we didn't identify any extensions that are highly used, but people don't think that are important. Well, this is somehow logical, I guess. And we have some poor dogs. The poor dogs, they are not very much used and have not a very prominent future. So let's look into some details. The stars are, as I've mentioned, semantic compound queries, semantic extra special properties, the next one, then semantic glossary here, semantic form select, semantic scribunto, and page schemas. So these are the most on the top right. What do you do with stars? Well, you keep them, you maintain them, and you might improve them. And of course, the even better stars we did not include. I mentioned page forms, but also other extensions that are very regularly used, also in Semantic MediaWiki installations, and they were not in the questionnaire. What about the question marks? Well, interestingly, we have here semantic bundle, which does not do anything by itself, but it bundles a set of semantic extensions. So this might be something to look into in the future. Semantic auth profiling, semantic access control list, and semantic wikibase. So this is interesting. As a businessman, you would say, maybe I need to invest in those, right? So we might want to think about investing in those, because they might have, compared to the others at least, a future importance, even if they're not used so much yet. For some abandoned ones, I don't know if probably these two are sort of abandoned. Maybe someone will take over maintenance. You can add features or documentation. Maybe it's also about knowledge about those that they are not so used so much. Yeah, these are the question marks. For the poor dogs, I would not include those, because here you just have seen this one, that's semantic auth profiling. So this is very close to those. But the poor dogs are really these ones here. And I just mentioned the weakest three: semantic rating, PHP tags, SMW, and semantic image caption. Probably not working anymore, so they have probably been abandoned. Or you might also think, well, but it could be important for you, so why not integrate the functionality somewhere else, maybe in a better maintained extension, or also take over these extensions. So this is just the legend in case you want to look up later for more detail. What I also wanted to show you are some of the last questions in the survey that we did. Does your organization have a possible alternative for Semantic MediaWiki? Have say yes and have say no. There was also a comment field, so we have some comments there that we have to go through and think about that. Another question was, would you or your organization be willing to provide developer support, time or money? Also here we have almost 20 that say yes, and I think 16 that say no. And we also asked, would you or your organization be willing to pay for Semantic MediaWiki in the future? Here 15 said yes, and 23 or 24 said no. With some comments, it should stay open source, and it should remain free of charge. So these were the last question of this survey. So this is just something that I also wanted to stress, but Jeroen has gotten into details here, so I'm not going to repeat. He had it on the slide, for example, something like Google Summer of Code. I think Semantic MediaWiki related project should be in there, so we would need some kind of a mentor for a student. Also, you could, if you're not a developer, you could also say, we want to spread more the word of great wikis. You could revive the idea of Wiki of the Month that we had on the website, or showcase your own wiki. We have this showcase section that would need improvement, but don't wait for us or for any of the established members of the community to do this. These are tasks that you can help us with, also when you're new in the community. Yeah. So join the MediaWiki stakeholders group, because there we have very Semantic MediaWiki friendly people who are interested and who try to support the movement. So yes, this was it, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. Thank you.
I don't see any questions, Bernhard, and I think I understand, because you're the one that answered all the questions. Cool. You should run. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We should run service regular basis. Yeah, and we also should include, also the high potential extensions, but make the list smaller. Because of really obsolete extensions we could throw out, and then really say, okay, what do people really think is the most important for the future? And so yeah, there is potential here.
And there is, I think we are going to hear, we are going to have a presentation, because the inline annotation is important, but that's going to be an issue with the new parsoid, isn't it? So the semantic annotation is on top. So there's going to be a challenge, I think, in the next few years. So it's very good to have this information and to know what to focus on. So thanks, Bernhard.
Okay, thank you.